Morning. So it is about 7:30 now. Alright, there's a branch in the way. It was really hot yesterday, so I decided to get up early and, start doing jobs early. So before letting the chickens out, something's been bugging me is the nettles have started being grown around the edge of the pen. So I've pulled the nettles, added it to the compost heap, and then I sort of bed the floor of the run with old hay. Well, it's not old hay, it's just rough hay. And the chickens scrap through it and work it down to almost dirt, basically. So I layered the green materials, which in this case was thistles and nettles, with the brown materials, which was the dead grass, the hay, in their compost heap in the coop, which will then be topped off later with various weeds and grass clippings. And then I just threw them some oats. I haven't given them any hard feed, what are they on at the minute? Layers mash. There we go. Sorry, early, haven't finished my coffee. They haven't had the layers mash this morning because I'm going to be feeding them treats and snacks throughout the day. Yeah, so I've done that, and then the other thing I plan on doing is tidying up my outdoor tomatoes. Been bugging me for a while, but whenever I look at them, they're in full sun. So last night I cut up a pair of old tights. So a few years back I read and tried, and it worked, that if you cut tights into strips, because of the elastic in them, you tie up your tomatoes with them and they stretch when your tomatoes grow. You may see I have some like peg type clips, but not enough that I use, and then I've got the standard baling string. But obviously baling string's rigid and it tends to cut into the plant. So what I'll be doing is removing the baling string where it's there, popping on these ties that I made out of a pair of old tights. But what I will say is I then need to remember, when taking all the tomatoes down, to cut off those tights and throw them in the bin, because obviously I don't want them to go in the compost bin. Well, if they're usable, I'll keep them for next year. So yeah, I'll get going with that. I'll also be side shooting and weeding as I go. And then the other thing I think I want to do this morning before it gets too hot is I need to pick another round of raspberries, which is a daily chore, well, not chore, a daily task at the moment. Because as I walked through the raspberry patch, a cloud of birds disappeared, which normally means I've got some very ripe ones, because the birds only tend to attack the really ripe raspberries. Yeah, and then later on this morning I've got some errands to run, and then I'm not sure what I'm doing this afternoon. Right, so this is one row of my tomatoes. I'm not sure how well you can hear me today because it's rather windy and there's some farm machinery in the background. So I'll make the talky bit brief. So these are the strips that you end up cutting out of the tights. You can see very stretchy. And I'll just be taking off what's on there, if there's string on there, and tying these on and pruning as I go. Right, it's just started raining, so I don't know how long I'll last with the filming, so how long the camera will hold up. But this is my second outdoor patch of tomatoes. Basically, what I had left over, and I bunged them in the edge of the squash patch, so we'll see how they do. The little sticks I put in when I first put them out need changing because they're not going to be strong enough, and then I just need to pop some ties on them. Back from running errands. I've actually been back for a while, but we've been having some storms, which is excellent because I don't have to water the garden, but it does mean that I haven't actually been able to get out and do anything for a bit. Before the storms started, I did, because when I was in town I picked up some, you can see it, this here is some greenhouse shading, which I fixed to the outside of the greenhouse. Hang on a minute, I will pop the camera around and show you. There we go. It's fixed the outside. It's fixed mainly on that side because that's where the bulk of the sun goes, because on that side, if you can see through the mucky greenhouse, there's a hedge. I've only shaded the half with the tomatoes in. I appreciate the temperature of the whole greenhouse will rise, but it's the tomatoes that I want to shade. So I've just gone to edit today's video and, sorry, Jim wants to be part of this video. Come on, Jim. Everybody's here. Yeah, so I just went to edit today's video and I realised that I didn't finish filming today's video. When I got back from town doing a few jobs I had to do, I picked up a new mower. And I managed to do some mowing before the storms hit. And then we just had on and off rain all day. So basically I've been going, and when I say rain, I mean torrential downpours. Yeah, so we were having torrential downpours and I was sort of doing jobs in between the rain showers and picking up a camera and trying to do the jobs wasn't going to make them be done quickly. Nothing particularly interesting, just... You got something to say, have you, Bex? No? Okay. Yeah, watering the greenhouse. I gave the tomatoes some seaweed feed. Checking on the sheep, just the normal things. And then when it was raining, I was mainly sat on this sofa and knitting. I've got a project going which has been going since December that I desperately want to finish. So that's what I've been working on. But yeah, so fingers crossed that I'll have something more interesting going on next week with better weather for filming.